So taking care of your stuff and your horse. Couple things about storing tack. You always want to store it in a place where it's well ventilated, and sweaty things that you put in there can dry out. But something to keep in mind, if you take something sweaty like a pad that the horse has been sweating on and you throw it in your tack shed, and then you close the door and this was put in this way, it's not going to dry out. All that is just going to kind of get matted on and crusty. When you put it away, try to put it away this way so that things can dry out. If you don't, some things can happen. A pad that started off all as one color will get some hair on it, but some areas will get worse than others. You can see sort of this, more hair is here and more is right here. This is sort of the sweat pattern from where it's touching the horse the most. Right here, what we've got is not only hair, but we've got dirt. Dirt and hair and sweat and mat and gross. All of that sort of builds up into sort of like a cake. That, if we leave that on there, if you put it on your horse and you keep riding your horse with something caked on there, that can be just as bad as not grooming your horse, because this is kind of crusty, gross, and it'll rub a hole into your horse, or it can, like this is kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but it's a little like it holds some moisture too. So then now you're putting moisture against dirty moisture against the horse. Anyway, you can run into some problems. The point is that store this upside down so it can dry off, and check it every once in a while for crusty grossness. And if there is crusty grossness, you can just use one of your curry combs that you use on your horse's body, use it on your pad, and loosen up all this. You see, as I'm doing circle motions, all this starts to come off. Gross hair, and none of this is saddle pad. All of this is just the stuff that's in the saddle pad. So if you take some time to get all that out, it's just like having a brand new pad. And that air can get to the pad and dry it out at night. So store it upside down, check it every once in a while, and use a curry comb to clean it. Don't use the metal curry combs because that can really mess up the fabric, but if you use something like this, a rubber curry comb, it's really good at getting that cleaned off. There you go. While we're talking about letting things dry out, there are a couple other things. When you store your saddle, make sure it's stored on something that allows the bottom to breathe so that can dry out if it's wet. And this guy, the girth, make sure that can breathe and dry off. Because once again, you can see here, once again, if you leave wet, crusty, dirty hair, sweaty, gross on there, it'll stay on there, and then you're putting wet, sweaty, crusty, salty, dirty, gross back on your horse and rubbing it against him for a while. So make sure that that's in a place that can dry out as well as the pads and everything else. So there, it's important.